September 19th, 2002 was the day that Our Films was born, and in 13 years, they've grown from a small group of friends filming to merely pass the time, into a family whose passion for film that cannot be matched. From their first moments to their most recent accomplishments, they're a force that can't be stopped. They are Our Films Entertainment, and these are their stories, their lives behind the camera. Within every group lies a wild card. The definition of this is a man whose actions go wherever and whenever without warning. And for the past 5 years, Our Films has had this man in their possession. Meet Shaun Jones, proud member of Our Films since 2010.
In fact, I'm probably one of the most out-of-the-control son of a bitches in Our Films. Never afraid to do or say anything at any given place. And I also have that attitude in life. I'm really happy, kind of go-lucky and laid-back person until I get irritated. And that's when I can flip a switch just as quick as anybody else can.
Other than his Switzerland aspect on life, you'd think that Shaun keeps to himself for the most part, but that's far from the truth. He's as loyal as they come, but film was never something that Shaun thought he'd catch himself doing. That was until the summer of 2010, when he was asked to be a part of a huge project that Our Films was working on. It was an action film that was to eventually be premiered publicly at a local establishment called Marveso's Italian Grill. It was something that made him both excited and terrified all at once. This thing was called acting.
Think about right here?
Oh, it looks right. It looks right. Looks just right for me to come up and fucking slit his throat.
Down.
Please,
Down,
come
dog.
on. Let me do it.
Down, boy.
I want some bacon.
Down.
I need some bacon.
Down.
My first film in Our Films was Justified Vengeance, which was my very first time on actual camera whatsoever. I've got a kind of a bad stuttering problem, so I was kind of leery about doing the film for Nick, but he came up and asked me and said, I got a small role for you. Give it a shot, see what you think, try it out, it's fun. After a little bit of hoaxing, I was down. And my stuttering ended up not being a problem to the film, and I could really get into the character. The character was Frankie Long, and he was methodical, evil. I was able to play him perfectly, is what the film demanded. The first time I was actually scripted for him, he was supposed to be a small role, which ended up being a lot larger. I ended up being a major part in that film instead of just a minor walk-on character. It was me and Brian Mocha, and we just meshed together with our two personalities and our two portrayals of the characters that it was almost perfect.
You got one chance.
You don't want to tell us maybe your wife and kid will.
Ooh, wife and kid, huh? We're gonna have a little fun with this one after all.
You tasty fish, Joe?
Wow. Let's just say they're gonna get a little picture of their daddy at our barbecue.
Too bad, Joe. Bye, Joe.
Before Shaun's acting debut, Our Films always found themselves recycling and reusing the same actors. And not to say that's necessarily a bad thing, but it was nice to see a change. And with Shaun's arrival, Our Films gained something that they had been craving for since the beginning: attitude.
What's going on, boys?
What's going on, motherfuckers? With our 30 grand act.
Sorry we're early. Fuck your 30 grand. You didn't hear that earlier? What's going on, Papa? I had to bring the game, man. I wasn't gonna let that money go to waste.
Shaun's surprising acting abilities in Justified Vengeance also helped Our Films co-founders Nicholas Barone and Brian Molka gain some confidence in him, which eventually led to more roles in the near future. By the end of 2010, Shaun had established himself within the art films family by gaining the trust and respect from others. So much that he decided that perhaps maybe he would try out his production skills for the first time. It was for a short film that he had been dying to do. It was a horror film in which for the first time he would direct, act, and write for.
Where the hell is Steve? He said he's bringing some beer.
I don't know, but I'm ready to go.
Oh, shit! The fuck? God damn it! Son of a bitch!
Now, The Hunted was my first shot at trying to write a film, get everything going together. I made so many mistakes during that film. I tried to schedule the film shoot around a party, so that way we'd have people here for it, and things just did not go to plan whatsoever. There was a lot of things that happened that night. Brian Mocha and Richard Brandes, which is, both of them were very good friends of mine, and Richard Brandes was the best man at my wedding. Got into kind of a heated discussion or a debate because just factors were going on. I was ready to scrap the film, but luckily Nicholas and Brian were able to actually keep it from the editing room floor and the scrap pile and turn it into something that was actually likable and watchable.
Despite the results of The Hunted, Shaun's confidence is as strong as they come, and with that being said, Shaun moved on, but he wanted more than just an acting role. Something in The Hunted really lit a fire under Shaun, so during the fall of 2010, himself and Nicholas Barone created a webisode series called Paranormal Case Files.
Sit back.
This ain't gonna do a fucking thing if we start lighting them up, dude.
Lovely doorway. Stay back. Here. It's locked.
Ready?
Go.
With their first webisode series in the books, Our Films was hungry for more. But unfortunately, the series died off by the winter of 2012 and was long forgotten. But during this time, Brian Mocha and Nicholas Barone had written a story that could very well surpass the series on every level. The film was about a young man whose haunted childhood comes back to him in the worst way. And upon hearing about the project, Shaun was very interested in the idea. But the role that had been given to him was completely different than anything else he's ever done. And with Shaun's history and character roles, this would definitely be a challenge for him, since they've pretty much only been comprised of villains. And by the time the film was finished being written in the spring of 2011, the only thing that was left was a title. The film was called Phasmophobia.
I see you. Deep shit. Now, how the characters kind of differed in both films, and what was the challenges on those films were completely two different aspects. In Justified Vengeance, me and Brian played two bad guys. I don't know, bad guys are always seem to be easier to play in movies. And going from an evil character and going to playing a good character, it was... Actually, the transition wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be, because I still played an arrogant asshole.
I'm here because my friend Steve said I shouldn't be here,
Hi,
but
Steve.
I really need
We
help.
must give you mutual respect to everyone.
I'm here because courts told me to come.
My family thinks I have a germ problem.
Oh.
Lenny,
What?
why are you here?
Steve told me to be.
You need to stop and give the group a real reason why you're here.
I'm Siobhan and I'm a sex addict. There you go now.
Right.
Not only was Phasmophobia Shaun's shining moment in his role of Lenny, but it was also a moment that Shaun would really step up to the plate in other skills.
Oh, the prosthetics that I used for Phasmophobia and why it's one of my favorite films and still one of my biggest headaches was the wings that the demon needed to have for the scene. The full bodysuit, the leg, the arm, and the wings, and the horns took about 3 weeks to make. I was using cheaper materials that I thought would hold up after looking at numerous DIY sites, and I was kind of using subpar materials to make these costumes. And well, the good news is the wings came out better than what I could have hoped for. It was 7.5 feet on each shoulders going out. The problem with that, using foam noodles, black trash bag, spray foam, Krylon paint, and some PVC, is the PVC could not stand that much weight and kept snapping joints left and right. I probably had to tear them apart about 10 times before the day of the film just to have them snap on the day of the film. You are definitely not, especially since I got a new angle.
Okay, you ready? And Shaun.
Oh.
Whoa.
As an overall, I do believe the film came out great. The demon transformation scene, which was done by Sarah Barone, which she's a wonderful actress to work with. Great model, definitely somebody that I would enjoy working with again, especially doing any kind of prosthetics on. There was a few times where I was more nervous than she was. I'm trying to act all professional, and then she brings in and just lightens the mood 100%, which made my job easier. I wasn't screwing up as much.
Yeah, because she's going to be wearing this.
You fucking bitch.
Don't be so bad.
Don't be so bashful.
And, it ended up coming out pretty well.
The creation of the demon was definitely a huge feat for our films and Shaun Jones. And between their appearance on Fox 2 and the success of their second public premiere, our films seemed to be going places. But as 2012 began, that was far from the truth. With the case files disappearing and everybody with their own agendas, Shaun attempted to relight the fire by collaborating with his good friend Thomas Elmore on an idea that could possibly be a reincarnation of his first attempt at writing with The Hunted. But this time around, Shaun wanted the fans to experience something that could strike the fear into the minds of others. Their idea was to write about the day in life of a serial killer.
We did a movie called The Killers Within. This was mine and Thomas Elmore's baby that we ended up doing. The gist of the movie was it was supposed to be a mood movie, putting you in the eyes of a killer. We tried to make it as close to what real life serial killers would go through. We kind of dabbled a little bit too far in the minds of a serial killer, and people like to see the play of a serial killer, not the actual thing of it. They don't want to relate to something that bad. And the end scene, the nudity and everything else of that part was actually my doing, because it was, at that time the main character, myself, was smashed in the head with a crowbar, and the personalities kind of merged, and he was kind of fighting dominance of what kind of type of killer was he going to be. Some of the slaps that I was giving Tina Martin were actually real. It was bringing more of an animalistic feeling out into me that you could relate to, and I mean, yes, that sounds bad, but it's the truth.
Scream. Scream.
Our Films Live, A Tale of Two Tales, was a webcast show that starred me, of course me, Thomas Elmore, and Eric Martin were the three co-hosts of the show. And yes, we understand it was called A Tale of Two Tales, but it had three hosts. Well, the reason for that being is it was only supposed to be me and Tom, and then when we mentioned it to Eric Martin, he decided he wanted to be part of it, but we already had the name and the logo down, and I was already in the works of trying to get it going. It was a weekly thing, then it went to bi-weekly, then from there it just kind of faded out. It's definitely not easy putting on a show every week, coming up with new materials, getting the following from the people, and then kind of dropping the ball, if you will, by over-ambitious ideas that just didn't play out and failed. We still think all of our audience that did watch, and we do have an announcement later on that we will be. Tale of Two Tales is not dead, it's just went into hibernation for a little while as we're getting things done.
Shaun, Tom, and Eric were on a roll, filming everywhere from Eric's apartment to on-the-spot locations such as the University of Michigan campus, and even though their show was targeted towards everybody, it hit a specific group of people that Shaun holds dear to his heart.
Okay, what is the furry fandom and why am I part of it? It's probably a major question that asking, because the Tale of Two Tales, yes, it was an R Films project, but it was more geared towards the fandom, which the fandom is an acronym for the furry fandom. The furry fandom is a group of people that are cartoon animal enthusiasts, and some, not all, wear masks like this. This is Splash. He was introduced on, this is actually one of the only good things that came out of IFC, which was him, and these things are expensive, so I kind of gotta be very careful with him. That's why you haven't seen him in too many movies yet, because, well, with fake blood, falling on your ass, tripping, and these things have very minimum eyesight through the eye sockets right there. It's very difficult to actually see anything, let alone do anything in them. But it is fun. The furry fandom I've been in since, I want to say 2006, 2007. What it means to me is it's acceptance. It's a group of people that are there that have no problems, no issues. I mean, we all come from different walks of life, and these are the people that society has pretty much counted down, counted out, and we found ourselves through the use of masks and personas to actually come to terms with the outside world and what the hand it has dealt with us, and still give it a big finger saying fuck you.
You could say that Shaun has multiple loves in his life, from the furry fandom to our film's entertainment. He loves and is loved by many. But when it's all said and done, and at the end of the day, there's only one person who ultimately has possession of his heart.
I'm married with three boys, ages 8, 6, and 2. All my little hellions, and I love them dearly. And I would also really thank my wife for being behind me. It takes an extremely strong woman to be with my crazy, psychotic, stupid ass. But I mean, she was a major supporter when it came to the Our Films Live. She's been a major supporter when it comes to all the movies and the excess money that we've had to spend when we really don't have it. She always made sure that we did. She works she does everything for us, and I just love her more than what my words can ever say. Our Films is not just our films, it's our family. The bonds that we've made, the friendships that have been together through thick, thin, bitch outs, fights, problems, death, suicide. I mean, when I say suicide, and I really truly mean suicide, my beloved cousin Alicia committed suicide. She was battling depression and other things at that time. Our Films was there for me when I did it. I mean, all the actors, showed their support to me and my family, which is definitely appreciated. And Nicholas Barone helped me actually through a problem that I was having. The movie Choices, which was probably one of our film's newest films to this date, that was filmed. He did a spectacular editing job on it. It was meant to show people the fact that, yes, we're all dealing with depression, but it was definitely there to show you the fact that there is other options to do it. That movie will forever be close to my heart, and I do definitely appreciate Nicholas Barone and Brian Mocha for pulling that movie off when I could not be there dealing with so many funerals I had in that month. It was rough, and these guys really took my quick, jotted down idea, ran with it, and came up with Choices.
Since Shaun's start in 2010, the only thing he's ever wanted was to help create a product that is both entertaining and professional. And even though he's been off the grid for the most part since the 2013 rebranding as far as film appearances, his past contributions off the set with shooting locations and his work on The Demon and Phasmophobia have not gone unnoticed. Not only is Shaun a great asset to our films, but his friendship is cherished by all. 5 years and counting. His dedication and loyalty have proven well throughout our films, and he's very confident that their success will continue for many years to come.